again, everyone. I wanted to share a find that I made on Etsy of this really beautiful watercolor box by Winsor and Newton. Now, this is something that is normally extremely expensive, these old vintage tins and watercolors, but I got a pretty good deal on this. It's used, obviously, so your mileage may vary. I've seen quite a few out there, but I've never seen one this inexpensive. This, I think this has a price tag of it on it of $101, but I purchased it for 60, or maybe it was 65. Either way, bargain. So this isn't the, as far as I know, this isn't the artist grade vintage watercolor because it is scholastic watercolor. So I think it is the student grade watercolor that is still in the box, but it did come in its original paper box. I'm going to take out this beautiful tin, which is very nice and red. Open it up, and I could definitely take out the inside because this piece is just held in by a little metal bit here. So I could definitely take this out and repurpose the box for modern watercolors. But for now, I'm going to leave it intact, and it even came with this little Winsor Newton made in England watercolor brush, which is made with squirrel hair, which I think is kind of fancy for a school version of the brush. So I have not yet wet this with anything. I'm going to try that now. And because it did seem like the end of it was a little bit rough, so I've just gone ahead and put some water in it. It seems like it's shaping up pretty good. I'm not sure how it's going to perform though, but I am going to try and do these swatches of these vintage watercolors with that brush. I'm going to put a little bit of water on each of these. I'm going to try and be a little bit more generous than I normally am, and I can already tell that they might have a little bit of a coating on them, which makes them a little bit difficult to, which may make them a little difficult to re-wet. I mean, these are old. These are, I want to say 50s. I don't think they're earlier than that, but this is the first time that I have messed with them. I have not swatched them yet. So the paper that I'm going to be using today is called B paper, and it comes in these single sheets. I've been using it a little bit lately because I haven't been able to find my swatch book. This is B paper, watercolor paper, 100% cotton, 6x9, and I purchased this off of Amazon. I'll put a link down below to the product. It's not always in stock, but when it is, it's a really great deal. All right, let me go ahead and start here. So this first color is Crimson Lake. Oh, and this brush is actually quite nice. I wasn't able to get a lot of saturation at the beginning. Let's see if I can add to that a little bit. Okay, that's really nice. And one of the nice things too about these older watercolors is that they will often have colors that are no longer available for one reason or another. Sometimes it's a good reason they're no longer available. Like, you know, they have heavy metals or something, but not always. Okay, so this next one, which is a yellow ochre, is really proving to be difficult to re-wet. And this is a really soft brush as well. So yeah, I'm just really not getting anything from it. Let me see if I can use my dagger brush. These are the only two brushes I have available right now. So if I cannot get this one wet, we might just have to figure something else out. Yeah, that's just not gonna wet. The other one I suspect will be, the next one will be the same. This is Red Light, but again, it has a coating over it. And like I said, these are so old that I wouldn't be surprised. What I might end up doing, yeah, I can't really get anything out of that either. What I might end up doing with these is just sort of like scraping off the top layer to see if I can get to some pigment underneath. So this one we are getting a little bit here. This is Vermilion Mid Tint. That's pretty lovely. Yeah, nice. And this brush is actually not bad. Okay, so next we have sepia, which looks like we'll be able to get a little bit of that as well. Sepia. Not sure about this next one. So I was really excited to see this one because it's called Gamboge tint. Because Gamboge is a color that's no longer available as a single pigment. I have no idea whether this is actually a single pigment, but wow, even though I couldn't get a lot of paint off of there, it's still pretty bright. So that's Gamboge tint. This next one is Prussian blue. So I'm going to start up here at the top again. Oh, interesting. So that one looks like it might have granulated a little bit over time. Because Prussian blue, I think, is also another one of those colors that is not made with the same pigment anymore. So I don't know if that's the case. And then I have burnt sienna, which again doesn't seem to be wetting too well. Oh, but we're able to get some off of it. And it looks like this set was near unused. It may have been used a couple of times and then put away. It looks like the green is what they used the most. So this is called Green Bice. Very nice and bright. And then we have Ultramarine. Ultramarine. Chrome Yellow Pale, which again, this seems a little bit hard to re-wet, but we'll see. I can get a little bit off of it. Again, with those ones that are hard to re-wet, I might go back and just scrape off the top layer so that I can get in there. This next one is Van Dyke Brown, which again is very beautiful. So these colors, although not high in tinting strength, and I'm going to put this brush aside, let it dry before I put it back in the box. Let me just sort of shape it while it's wet as well. The brush is actually quite nice. Even though they don't have a very high tinting strength, and that partially could be because I'm having a hard time getting the color off, they're still really beautiful colors. So, and you can even see some granulation in that blue there. In fact, just because of their age, I might be seeing granulation in a lot of these. But so a few reasons why it might be worth it to get a vintage tin. First off, a vintage tin of any type of watercolor, not necessarily Winsor Newton, because these do tend to be pretty expensive. You can reuse it as a modern day palette, which I may eventually end up doing. I kind of want to leave this in here for a little while to preserve it as the set for now until I figure out what to do with it. So that's, you can use it for a modern watercolor set. You can, if the watercolors are unused, you can sometimes find colors that are no longer available today. And 3, just sort of like historical fascination. I mean, if you're really into watercolor and sort of the historical progression of watercolor and that sort of thing, it might be fun just to see the colors or to see the watercolor palette design and that sort of thing. But there's a variety of reasons why you might want to get a vintage tin. I keep an eye out on Etsy generally. Etsy is generally where I've been able to find the best vintage palettes. I have 1 or 2 others that I actually have taken mostly because they didn't have any watercolor left. I took out the colors and then put in my own. And these are magnetic, so you can use magnets on the bottom of your pans and just use them in here. I think these pans, and they're in there pretty good. I'm wondering if I could actually remove these pans and then remove this little guy. But you know, there's a variety of possibilities. But I just wanted to share that with you and show you sort of what's possible in the realm of vintage palettes. All right, well, that's all I had for you today. Feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos on my channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Hope to see you next time. But in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.